Switching gears and talking a little 6A Division II football with the defending champs, the Bixby Spartans. Their head coach, Lauren Montgomery, joins the OK Preps Roundup this morning. Coach, thanks for taking some time this Saturday morning to talk a little Bixby football with us. First off, coming off a state championship win, I talked with you briefly about this a couple weeks ago when I visited your spring practice. Coming off a championship win, it changes the dynamic of a program as well as the school. What's different about this spring as opposed to the previous springs?
Well, probably just the number one thing is the kids have a little bit more confidence knowing that we have a chance to win a gold ball, and there's a little bit more excitement in the hallways about football, and I think anytime you can get those two things going at a high school, it really helps your cause as far as running a football program.
Hey, Lauren, it's Ben Johnson. Thanks for hopping on with us this morning. We talk about Nick Roller a lot on the offense, but how has he helped Tanner Griffin progress as a quarterback? Has he taken a lot of pressure off Tanner? Because I remember watching you guys against East Central last year, and I think Tanner completed, less than 50% of his passes. But as the season went along, he got a lot more accurate. Was that because, if he's struggling at any point, you have Nick there as a relief valve just in case?
Well, I think probably so. For a sophomore quarterback, it's a comfort level knowing that you can run the ball, and just as football goes at any level, if you can run the ball, it has a tendency to open up your passing game just a little bit. But the way Tanner progressed all throughout the year, I think was a culmination of maybe us being able to run the football as well as playing really good defense last year, and it was fun to watch Tanner's progression, and I think just the type of athlete that Tanner is, we expected him to grow as the season went on. Anytime you've got a sophomore quarterback early in the year, there's going to be, or sophomore anything, that there's going to be some bumps and a learning curve. But, I think when we entered the playoffs, I think Tanner was over 70% completion in all three playoff games. So we're real proud of his development, and we think our team that we had last year, had a lot to do, the entire team had a lot to do with the progression of Tanner Griffin.
And Griffin comes back this year as a junior, and for those who don't know, he's already committed to play college sports, but on the baseball diamond for Oklahoma State. But I'll remain in this field that I think that Tanner has a chance to play college football as well somewhere if he wants to go that route. Maybe not at Oklahoma State, but I definitely think he's good enough to play at the college level because of that accuracy, because of his arm. With the pieces that you lose offensively, how's it going to be having guys like Tanner Griffin back, a year older, a year mature, and having guys like Nick Roller back who really blew up last year with over 2,000 yards and had over 40 carries in the state championship game?
Yeah, anytime you've got a really good football team and have an opportunity to win a state championship or play deep into the playoffs, part of the reason why you're doing that is because you got a really good group of seniors. And so off any good football team, you're going to graduate a number of good athletes typically. And so I think that's where, the program and the emphasis that you put into developing younger players through JV games, through weight training, through film study, all those things really comes into play because, we lose a 1,000-yard receiver in Kyle Ryan and we lose 4 really good offensive linemen, Brandon Dyson. But, we've got some guys that are going to be able to step up and hopefully fill those shoes. You talk about guys like Connor Walker, Cade Cabanis, as far as your receivers go, Jared Neerman, some names that you're going to hear this year, as well as, you've got Oliver Page, you've got Pierce Hibland, you got Jordan Harbins, guys that we're going to have to plug into the offensive line. And so I think, the mark of a successful program is can it sustain itself after a really big year? And so we're hoping that's the case with us, and we're gonna find out a lot about ourselves next week when we go over to Mustang team camp.
Yeah, and I'll see you guys again out there. It's a loaded field yet again for that Mustang team camp. Bixby, one of the teams involved, along with a team you might see in the playoffs down the line, Midwest City, another team that's there. I want to switch gears a little bit We're talking with Bixby head coach Lamorne Montgomery here on the OK Preps Roundup. I want to switch gears and talk about your district and the matchup that I think is starting to evolve, and we're going to see it grow even more and more and become one of the marquee games each year, and that's Bixby taking on Booker T. Washington. And look, in the new 6A, you know who your district opponents are going to be. There's only 2 of them, and as long as Booker T. Washington stays in 6A and doesn't drop down to 5A, that's going to be one of your top opponents year in and year out. Do you see that game turning into a bit of a rivalry game between these two proud programs over the next couple of years?
I don't know. I think Booker T. Coach Danzo runs a great program over there, and I know we had one heck of a ball game last year that played a big role in the outcome of the district championship, and then those guys went on to play Lawton real close into the playoffs. But the history that Booker T. Washington has and the caliber of athletes they have, just like they've got quite a few Division I athletes coming back this year. I think it's always going to be a big ball game for us. And last year, we were fortunate enough to come out on top, and it was a fun game for our kids. I know at the end of the year, we do exit interviews and talk to our kids about some of the fun points that they had throughout the season, and numerous guys talked about that win. So yeah, it's always going to be a fun game to watch, and it's always going to be real competitive, and I think it'll always have district implications for sure.
I'll tell you what, this year the scoreboard might be lighting up as both teams have some firepower coming back offensively. Bixby and Booker T both favorites, or some of the favorites, to win the state championship this year. Coach, always good talking Bixby football with you. Looking forward to seeing you guys again next week at the Mustang Team Camp. Thanks for taking some time this morning and talking about your Spartans.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
That's Lamorne Montgomery, the head coach of the Bixby Spartans.